Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and if you didn't know, Ace Frehley released his new album 10,000 Volts yesterday, and while I listened to it, I decided to write down my thoughts and make a review of it. I want to make it clear that I've never listened to an Ace Frehley solo album before. I do listen to Kiss, and they're pretty awesome. I also want to mention that I will not be featuring any of the actual music, because I don't want to get copyrighted, and I'll just be speaking on it, so if you want to go listen to it afterwards or before, feel free. So without further ado, let's get to the title track. Kicking off the album, we have the title track 10,000 Volts. I first noticed the drums, they fit the song really well. And the backing vocals that Ace uses throughout the song is just great. I don't know if they're done by Ace or by someone else, but they're pretty awesome. The solo also, while not like super complicated, is very Ace, like Kiss Ace, and sounds amazing in my opinion in this song. And also that first chord he hits at the very beginning with the phaser sounds awesome, and I think it's a really cool way to kick off an album. That lick at the start of the song, just in my opinion, kicks off the song really well, and the album right into high gear. While Ace's lyrics are really simple, I mean it's Ace, but his voice sounds pretty good in this song. Later on you'll see that my opinions differ on his vocals, but throughout this song it sounds great. Overall, pretty good song, great starter. I think the instrumentals are great, and good vocals. This next track on the album is called Walking on the Moon, and I think the shift into a shuffle beat on the drums is a very cool choice because it changes up the feel of just the whole album so far. Not to mention the drums start off the song with a little drum break, and being a percussionist myself, and a guitarist, but mostly percussionist, it puts a smile on my face. The main riff in the song is pretty decent. I really like the openness to it, but I think the 10,000 Volts is better. I also think that shifting the key up, I think it was in the pre-chorus or chorus, I can't remember, it brings it to a whole new level, and it sounds really awesome. You also gotta love that cowbell just in the song. Love that. While the vocals aren't the brightest, I think his melodies that he uses are they really help the song, and they're really good. The guitars also seems like they have a different tone in the bridge. I don't know if I'm just crazy and I can't hear it right, but they sound better in my opinion, and I think that is pretty awesome because it transfers right into the solo. Speaking of the solo, I love the pull-offs and hammer-ons I think he's doing. It's obviously not that tune, but he uses those, and I think they sound really good. Although if you look at the music video, he doesn't seem to be doing it. It's got to be kind of pretty hard to, I guess, sync everything up. Not to mention those bends in the solo are really cool. Pretty fun song overall. Not as good as the first in my opinion, but a great follow-up. Up next we've got Cosmic Heart. And I already love this title. I think it's really cool. Very Ace again. Not even lying, the intro gave me chills when I first heard it. Chills. And the toms the drummer is using sound huge, and I love it. It impacts you really big. I already like Ace's vocals more on this song than the previous ones. I just think they sound just more better. And again, the backing vocals make Ace sound great, and I think they're a great addition to the song. The descending guitar part while Ace sings gives it a really sense of dread almost. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but it really makes the song stand out. The guitar solo, in my opinion, also feels really out of this world. Cosmic Heart, if you know what I mean. And to me, the solo sounds like something like modern day Kirk Hammett would write almost. That's not a insult. All around, a great song. So far, in my opinion, it's the best part of the album. Next up on the album, we have the track Cherry Medicine, which was one of the singles that came off that Ace produced before the album's release. But I didn't watch it, unlike I watched 10,000 Volts and Walking on the Moon. For some unknown reason, I paid more attention to the guitar tone in this one, and I realized that it's really wonderful, and there's plenty of mids and great attack. But I have to admit, I can't get into the vocals on this track. There's just something off about them, and I just don't like them. However, the driving kick drum throughout the song really moves it along and helps it get going. While I wouldn't normally say this, I think the addition of the cowbell doesn't really help the song. It kind of sounds kind of goofy, but I really just, the tone of it's really awesome. I do love the pre-chorus when it raises in pitch as Ace sings. I think that's a good, it just helps it helps each other, you know? But I do have to say that the solo comes out of nowhere and doesn't last too long, which is a bummer because I really liked it, and I think if it was in a different song, it would have been really great. Overall, I think this is the weakest song in the bunch so far. It's not bad, but there are great guitar parts and a super solid beat from the drums. Just the vocals and the solo placement just aren't my favorite. The next track is Back Into My Arms Again, and this one I was expecting to be kind of slow, and the track kicks off with a really sweet sounding guitar part with acoustics in the back, which to me sounds awesome, already making me love this song. While the vocals in this song are also much better in my opinion than the previous one, they're still not as good as they could be. I feel the song is very emotional sounding, but also really cool and just mysterious. I love the shaker that is featured in this song. I think it's in the chorus. Ace's vocals, really shine, and it's the first time that we see him have really great vocals in my opinion. The drums again here are great and fit the song really super. I think the high point in the song is the solo. It really sounds great with the key change and just sounds like pure Ace in my opinion, which is great. This so far has been my favorite track on the album. It's full of emotion and just sounds sonically wonderful. Up next, we've got Fightin' for Life, and right off the bat, we've got a crazy and pretty heavy riff. In my opinion, it sounds awesome. I think Ace's delivery in this track, vocal-wise, is probably the best we've had so far. I also love the guitar part that Ace does when he's singing. I think it's great. I don't know how you could sing and play at the same time, but it's pretty awesome. While the song itself is very solid, and the solo has many high points, I think that the two aren't the best fit for each other. This is my opinion though. Not to mention the drums sound great on this track, really giving the song the punch that it needed, you know? And finishing out with some awesome guitar harmonies and double bass, really almost sounds like the ending of a Metallica track. I know I said this was the last one, but I think this track was probably my favorite so far. Great vocals, great guitar, great drums, wild harmonies, and just a wonderful mix, just solid everything. Next up, we've got the song Blinded. This track kicks off with Ace kind of yelling in your face, blinded by science. I'm pretty sure that's what he says, or something of that. And while it's not my favorite way to start a song, I think it sounds pretty epic in this context. I don't really like vocals starting off songs, but I can get behind it sometimes. The intro riff also to me sounds like a really slow Slayer riff, something Kerry King would write. The cowbell makes a return in this song, and without the hindrance of the drums covering up, which is pretty cool, and we get to see it in all its glory. Not to mention, when the drums do kick in, they sound wonderful in this mix, especially with the toms. Ace comes full steam in this solo, and it sounds great, featuring a lot of pull-offs and hammer-ons again, and it sounds like the solo keeps going even when Ace starts singing again, and I think it's really awesome, giving it a very Kiss feel. Detroit Rock City, if you know what I mean. Overall, I really like this song. I think it's one of the best on this album, and not to mention, to me it sounds almost something like AC/DC would come up with. It's just my opinion. Next up, we've got Constantly Cute. Listening to this album with ads, this song gave me a scare because of how abruptly it starts, but it's pretty cool. The intro sounds similar to Fuel by Metallica. I don't remember exactly how it goes. I mean, I know how Fuel goes. Right? But yeah, it just reminded me of that a little bit. I like the galloping bass line following throughout the song. It just really drives it. Though I think the lyrical content is very Ace, which is not my favorite kind of vocals, and almost sounds like he's desperate sometimes, really almost about to get rejected almost. I don't know if that makes sense. Just how I feel about it. I also very much like and enjoy the tom fill in going into the part where he just says constantly cute, and the vocals following that tom fill. I don't have a lot to say about the solo, but it was decent for the song, and it's still pretty cool. Honestly, not a bad song, but definitely not the best we've talked about on this album so far. This next track almost sounds like a video game title. It's called Life of a Stranger, and while it's pretty cool, it just reminds me of something that I'd play in a video game or something. Starting off with a solo, that's a great way to start a song in my opinion. It always gives me chills. I also love the chord progression used, very sad but also just really awesome in my opinion. In this context, it's great. Listening to this song, I noticed the organ in the back giving it a spooky tone, which I think is a great choice. Kind of a switch up from the pure punk and rock. Ace voice fits this song great. I think it's perfect and it sounds wonderful in this context. Definitely the best featuring of his vocals we've seen so far. I also think that the clean guitar throughout the song makes it sound really mystical and great. Don't know if that mystical is the right word, but that's what it gives me. That's what it makes me feel. The first solo sounds so emotional but so awesome. Just how it breaks out of the mix, and it's just great. And I think Ace's vocals shine the most on this track so far. I already said that, but I just wanted to restate it because of how good they sound on this track. While the next solo breaks out, there are vocals accompanying it, and it's sort of pushed to the back of the mix, but it sounds really cool as the song fades out. Definitely my favorite on the album so far. This song is great, cool solos, great sounding mix, wonderful vocals, and it's just got everything I'm looking for. The second to last song is Up in the Sky, and starting off the song is a 4 count by the drummer. It sounds like the drummer because it's followed by some hi-hat hits, and it sounds really awesome. It reminds me of Leper Messiah, which is probably one of my favorite songs off of Master of Puppets, even though it might not be the most popular. And the intro riff sounds so cool on its own, just out there. I love the acoustic guitar that follows the chord progression as the song goes. I think it's very awesome. And not to mention the bass sounds great, probably the best it sounded because it jumped out at me in this song. The whole feel of the song so far is great in general, very mid-paced, but it still drives into you because of the solid beat provided by the drums. Ace's vocals in the past few tracks have been really good, and this is no exception. The vocal harmonies during the bridge is bone-chilling. I love the way that he layered the vocals like that. Once the solo kicks in, though, the song has solidified itself in me as one of the best on this album so far, and it's just really cool. Overall, a great track, one of the best so far. The vocals, guitar, drums, just everything was on point on this track, and it's just great. And finishing out the album, we have Stratosphere, which is a instrumental, which was kind of weird because I always thought Ace to be a part of Kiss and they don't do a whole bunch of instrumentals, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so starting off with space sounds and acoustic guitar, it really sets the mood of this whole album as a whole. It's very spacey. The guitar honestly sounds like something that Bon Jovi or Def Leppard would come up with, which is really cool because I love Def Leppard. The guitar tone, not to mention, is really amazing in this and pierces right through the mix, but not your eardrum. It doesn't hurt. Again, being a percussionist, hearing the wind chimes in the song are pretty cool. It gives me a smile. This track has a very uplifting mood, even without vocals. Just the message brought through with the guitar just feels happy. Not to mention, when the solo kicks in, it just turns into pure awesome. This track actually reminds me of something Pink Floyd would make. For a finale, I think this song is great. It sounds awesome, and it has a great feel to it, ending the album in a very, very good place. So after all that, the album, in my opinion, is pretty good. Yeah, it's a pretty good album. I've never listened to an entire Ace album before, like I said. And so this one being my first, gave me great first impressions. It had some great highs and a few lows, like his vocals. Not that I'm saying that I could do any better, but they're just not my style. The solos all around were, they were okay. They were kind of on par with Kirk Hammett's and 72 Seasons recently, but they just fit the songs. Like, they just fit, in my opinion. Some were not as good as they could have been, and some were way, way better than others. But overall, a wonderful listen. I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble about music, and go support Ace by listening to 10,000 Volts yourself if you haven't already. And thank everyone so much for watching. If you would, please drop a like and subscribe. It would really help the channel out. I know this is one of my super early videos, but drop a comment what you'd like to see covered next if you like these kind of videos or you want more shorts, and have a great rest of your day.